Welcome to the Quantum Life Science Nordic roundtable discussions. We are welcome you to having a discussion with us, and we are having Lene Oderstede. Welcome to you are Senior Vice President and Professor at Novo Nordisk Foundation. Most welcome.
Thank you.
Göran, you are PI at Wallenberg Center for Quantum Technology. Very welcome.
Thank you very much, Ulf.
And Ebba Carbonier, you are the National Coordinator and Portfolio Manager for SweLife here in Sweden. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to start to give you a question, Ebba. What is quantum life science and why should we have quantum life science?
Quantum life science is an interdisciplinary emerging field where we use the quantum technologies in the life sciences. So exploring the possibilities, for example, with the quantum computing within the drug discovery, the protein folding and the metagenomics side, and also the quantum sensing side, where, for example, higher resolution can be done, for example, in the eye and the brain, and also in the area of oxygen saturation. So those are some of the fields that we are exploring and working on.
Right. And I will reach out to you, Lene. You are a physicist, and what kind of applications are relevant in life science from a quantum life science perspective, do you think?
So first of all, I think that the quantum technologies hold a fantastic potential. And so I would like to bring quantum technologies out of the specialist phase and to have them applied to real problems, say real problems within the life sciences. In other words, to use the life sciences as a pool to develop quantum technologies. And so to be more specific, one reason why quantum technologies have such an incredible potential for the life sciences is that in life sciences, we're dealing with problems that are based on an immense amount of data and highly complex problems, which are actually quantum in nature, because we're talking about molecules, atoms that interact with each other in a quantum mechanical manner. So for that reason, it does make sense to use a quantum mechanical system, for instance, to simulate this more complicated system, which we would like to understand. Of course, the incredible computational power that we will have when the quantum computer exists is also going to revolutionize the life sciences. So to mention more specific examples, then I think it would be highly important to be able to predict and propagate molecular conformations. For instance, to understand how a protein folds from knowledge of the primary sequence of the protein and also, of course, from its surroundings. And to be able to do that on timescales which are physiologically relevant. Also, it's going to be very important to be able to, for instance, identify binding sites for peptides or other types of drugs, and also thereby to be able to identify potential lead products. So the identification of leads is an incredibly important process in life sciences, and it's something that can really accelerate drug discovery.
I understand. And let me just give you one question more, Lene. In the life science sector, you talk about the complex data set we have. Some of them call really the big data sets, and how will quantum physics and quantum life science deal with that compared to the other techniques we have today?
So we have techniques that can do incredible measurements of the state of a particular system, but be able to combine all that information into predictions of the future. That's where the quantum computer can come into play. I mean, using the knowledge that we do have on how quantum mechanical systems interact in order to predict how these systems are going to propagate and how they will interact with each other. So, for instance, if you have a protein, you know it consists of a certain number of amino acids. the number of possible confirmations is astronomical. There's no way in the world a classical computer within the lifetime of the universe would be able to calculate the information of the final protein, but there is hope for the quantum computer.
Okay. So composite data, composite AI, composite life science, is that what you're talking about? I have read that from some newspapers. Is that right?
Yes. So it's data from the life sciences, and of course it can originate from a lot of sources.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lene. And going back to you, Göran, which kind of the closest useful applications we can see right now in life science sector with quantum?
So in the Wallenberg Center, we are exploring metagenomics, as Ebba mentioned. So how to speed up computations related to metagenomics on a quantum computer. We're also looking into protein folding. That's the two most closely related to life science. We are also looking into quantum chemistry. Okay. So how to calculate electronic structure and how molecules behave.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So what will we discover with quantum? What we can't do with the other techniques we have today?
I think, as Lena mentioned, to find the binding sites or catalysis, so larger molecules that can do really useful things. Yeah. That will happen more easily with a quantum computer.
Right.
I also want to mention that maybe even closer to application is these quantum detectors.
Yeah.
So when you can detect really on a low light level, so really with sparse, not so much light, you don't hurt the tissue, and you can also use longer wavelengths that go deeper into the tissue. So with single photon detectors, you can really be very, very sensitive. And I think those are very close.
Yeah. And what is very close? Is it 3 months or 6 years or 15 years?
I would say less than 6 years for the sensors. And for me, that's really very close.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think we will discover that, and we will face this in 10 years' time. That's really impressive. And maybe you should have some closer applications already in more near time as well.
Well, we can always hope for that. Right? Yeah. I mean, that's what we're striving for.
Yeah. Back to you, Ebba. What's happening in quantum life science in more overall picture in the Nordics? What is your view there?
Since we have advantages within the Nordics, Sweden and in Denmark and in Finland, that we are quite ahead within life sciences, and we are very happy about what's happening within the quantum technology developments as well. It could be a competitive advantage that we really focus on quantum life science.
Right.
And there seems to be a willingness certainly to do this. So we have started a Nordic quantum life science community, and we had our first roundtable this autumn, where we really gather, share and discuss these application areas and the development that we are working with.
In between the Nordic countries?
Yes, with Norway and of course Sweden and our friends in Denmark and our Finnish friends as well. And for example, in Finland, there is a company that Algorithmic, that they have started a startup focusing on quantum life science. And we're looking for more companies, Quantum Scopes, here in Sweden as well, on the sensing side. So that's happening. So we are gathering the physicists and the AI professions and the biologists and doctors and innovators, so to work together on quantum life science in the Nordics. And we're looking forward to our next roundtable. And we're also looking forward, of course, Lena, to the inauguration of one of your, what shall I say, smaller centers. Then it's coming the bigger, the larger center. So the inauguration in January in Quantum for Life. So I would say that there are quite a large amount of things happening in the Nordics regarding quantum life science, thanks to the community here.
That's fantastic, and what Nordic can bring together. We have seen that it's quite materialized right now. We have venture cap, and we have funds which investing now heavily in this. You have been in research grant from Wallenberg's foundation, and Lene, you represent a big foundation as well in Novo Nordisk. So I start with you, Lene. What's happening outside Nordics? What can we see? What is the trend in the quantum life science outside Nordics?
Yeah, it's actually interesting. There are not, in my opinion, so many activities that combine quantum technologies with the life sciences. I fully agree with Ebba that it may be a special Nordic advantage we have in that we are particularly strong both in quantum and in the life sciences. So we have tried to map out activities throughout the world in quantum life areas. And so one of the most important ones was by Honeywell, that they have combined, that have fused with Cambridge Quantum Computing recently. And they have activities both within pharmaceuticals and within quantum chemistry. So also, it is true that if we look internationally, much of the development is happening in private enterprise. Of course, there's a big interest in doing so, and also it does require significant funding to go into this area. So I guess that's one of the reasons why the successful big tech companies have huge activities in this. Also, IBM, of course, are among the world leaders within quantum life, and they have significantly progressed in quantum chemistry and have done really impressive papers within quantum chemistry using quantum computers. So to get a more full view of the international activities within quantum life, we have actually engaged with RAND Europe. So RAND Europe is a non-profit research organization that serves to give objective advice that one can use for making decisions. So in order to get an objective advice on the worldwide scene within quantum technologies, we have exactly engaged with RAND. So RAND is going to make a report that will actually publicly available for everybody, and we expect it to be finished around May 2022. So hopefully I can give a more full answer when we come to May 2022.
Yeah, thank you very much. Göran, from your point of view, what is happening in the rest of the world in quantum and quantum technology related to life science, maybe but also outside life science?
So I also want to mention what's happening here in the Nordic countries. So I think that we are in a unique position with such large efforts on the quantum hardware side, which are outside of we have our Wallenberg Center, which has a goal to build a quantum computer. And then we have the Microsoft effort and upcoming with maybe further support from Novo Nordisk. There is really a Danish hardware effort. And we also have a strong startup from Finland, IQM, which grown tremendously in the last few years, now more than 100 employees, and they are also on the hardware side, which I think is rather unique for I mean, we are not so many people here in the Nordics, but we are very interested in quantum. And it's kind of unique that this is not the national effort yet.
What do you say? What do you mean by that?
But our governments have not put any substantial...
So it's private grants.
Yeah, foundations and companies and venture capital. So there is a lot of activities that are strong. So that, there's an opportunity, I guess, for the governments to even...
when they jump in, we can see some tremendous things.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Yeah, of course.
So I think that Scandinavian and the Nordic countries have a really unique starting point, also seen from a historic point of view. Of course, there was the Copenhagen School in Quantum Mechanics in 1930s, which have been quite influential on quantum mechanics henceforth. But also the Swedish tradition in quantum chemistry has been extremely impressive, not to mention the Finnish efforts in superconductivity and low temperature physics, which is absolutely essential for having a functional quantum computing. And I think combining these fields of expertise makes a really strong starting point for a Scandinavian effort within quantum technologies.
I also want to just fill in that in Finland, they are basically supplying the cooling machines for superconducting quantum computers all over the world. So Bluefors. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
very.
supplying the fridges to the
The
world.
fridges,
Yes.
yes. Yeah.
So just to finalize with you, Ebba, regarding these short discussions, what do you think is important for other countries to do when they see what we have done in the Nordics?
First of all, since this is the World Exhibition, we definitely welcome everyone to contact us, because this is an emerging field, and we really want to build more knowledge within quantum life science. And of course we have contacts with other countries, but we should have a global community around quantum life science as well, to really share our knowledge and build together. So that's what we will do, really welcome the rest of the world as well to join in these advancements within quantum life science.
And I know during the setting of the community life science of quantum computing in the Nordics, you also have representatives from Cleveland Clinics, for example, in US in that meeting. Can you describe that?
Yes, we're very happy that we will now in Sweden and hopefully the Nordics as well have a pre-study to understand more about the collaboration that Cleveland Clinic are doing with IBM and SAS Institute and further collaborators regarding AI and quantum technologies in the clinical setting. So we're really looking forward to, I mean, they are at an early stage as well, but to understand and develop this together. So that we welcome as well, other countries and other university hospitals and research institutes as well.
And the aim there is to shorten the time from an idea to application in life science, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
From 17 years to something less.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's very, very promising. Yeah.
It is. So in the Nordic, quantum life science is supporting the whole world with cooling effects and cooling supports. And let's now set fuel to the quantum life science rocket from Nordic perspective and help the other countries. Is that a good finalized words?
That's an excellent final.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your participating here, and looking forward for your next step. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.